Howdy.
Hey, what's good?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Doing all right. I'm all ready to go. I got my coffee. See, America
Awesome.
runs on Dunkin',
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
genocide.
Is genocide Starbucks?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was
Uh,
just thinking
I
about
never go
how,
to Dunkin', so
so I was just thinking about how I really do not be thinking about what I'm going to wear before I come and do this. Maybe I should.
I do it all the time too. Sometimes
I'm
I'm wearing.
shirtless 30 seconds before I send the invite. Oh, give me 1 second, because this thing is looking crazy. What's going on, green screen? I gotta get a haircut. I'm gonna get them things spinning.
Yeah,
Oh, so let me ask you a question.
absolutely.
Do you think I talk over you too much?
No, so I actually get so anxious, like when we're like doing conversations and like you're starting to speak, but like I have like a thought I need to get in real quick before you finish what you're saying. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes like I do it and then all of a sudden right afterwards I'm like, oh man, Tyler, just shut up, let him talk. And then say what we have to say. But I just get
Right.
so excited. I feel like our style, how we talk, is like would be the same if we are like a sports show and we are like at like a sports bar and we were like talking about sports. You know what I mean? Like
And you know what?
that's
I'm so glad you said that because I know we just talked recently about changing the presentation and the inspiration behind it was a show that we both love. Pardon the interruption. Greatest
yeah.
show probably ever made. Okay. So big
Somebody say
shout out.
something or
Big shout out to Clipper Buckeye St. Louis at Young Block 314. Been listening to us for a while, and I love Challenge Day because I love just interacting with all you guys on Twitter. I love posting pictures and cracking little jokes and arguing, and I just love all that shit. It's really, really my favorite part. I used to go to a lot of Challenge Manias, and Scott and D are great guys and all, but I was like, my favorite part is getting to hang out with you guys, and even better than hanging out with the challenge competitors, meeting
yeah.
everybody who I draw back and forth. So big shout out to Young Block 314. He said, the best challenge podcast is Lovewood Challenges, and he tagged me. And I said the same thing that I always say. Time is the most valuable resource, and we are very appreciative of everybody who gives us their time. You can't get that back, and you want to listen to us talk about fucking reality TV show? The best we could do is respect that and try to give you a good show. And then Carmen Garza at Carmen Garza says Malik talks over his co-host all the time, and then talks about himself randomly.
So here's the unique perspective about all this and everything. But I don't think it ever disrupts the show. I don't ever think it disrupts like our flow and everything like that. I think because we're friends, that kind of helps out. Like if we were just like two people that came together on a podcast and then we were getting talked over, irritation might flow. But like
Oh, the early days of the podcast was like that.
right. And I could see that and but really this is sharing something that we both really enjoy, that we both love, and we're having fun with it, and we get to talk to somebody else that feels the same about the show. For me, like if you like have like an epiphany real quick, and you're just like and you gotta say something, I want to hear it
Exactly.
because you might forget it if I keep going.
And we also, I think we have a good enough back and forth where we know what parts that, hey, I got to get this in. Or it just kind of flows naturally. One of my favorite things about this is it just flows like a natural conversation. Yeah, we have a very basic, format we try to go with, but really we just get up here and we just, man, how much little preparation goes into this would fucking shock you guys. We just get on a call and just,
It's
and
pure
just go.
fandom.
So
Pure fandom.
no hate to Carmen. She's just voicing her opinion. We heard, but talking
These
over
things
each
are
other's show.
good. These things are good. They're good. See, we're doing it right
Oh,
now. These things
of
are
course.
good.
We love to hear from you guys, good or bad. But watch the bad part because if I feel like it's personal, I'll go into offensive.
I literally just watched, and I sent you the link too. Wes was on Bananas podcast,
Didn't watch
and
a second of that shit.
I'm telling you right now, it's captivating.
I'm
You'll really
going
enjoy
to,
it.
but this week has been especially bananas. Let me just stop you real quick. I wanted to talk about myself for a little bit. First off, and like I said, no hate to this person. It's all good. Yeah, I talk about myself. It's on a podcast. And I generally think people want to know stuff about me, and which is funny because even though I do talk about myself, I don't get very deep. Like if you look at any of my social media, you really can't tell that much about me. In case you guys don't know, my name is Malik. I am a Muslim. I'm getting close to middle age. I have a whole bunch of kids, all girls, 6 daughters. I have a really bad attitude. And even though I can be very, very social, I do not like people. But I'm good in a crowd. It's weird. It's like I hate all of you, but I will entertain you all until this thing is over. So a little something about me. I love soul food. I love rap and rock. And when I say rock, I'm talking about I love Metallica, Linkin Park, Incubus, Alien Ant Farm. When it comes to rap, I love my classics, Jay-Z, Nas, Big, Pac, these guys. What else? What else is about me? What is something about me I haven't really given to this platform?
I know. I mean, I think you've been pretty transparent and you've let everybody know. I think with
You're more private than me.
I am very. I am. And that's not even it's just not like a negative thing or a positive thing. It's just a thing. I think here's the thing. If we just spoke about the challenge and we had a script and we were like, all right, A, B, C, and D, and we're like some of these other podcasts, which no disrespect to them, do your thing, find your niche, do what you like to do and enjoy it. These would probably be like 25, 30 minutes long and we'd be in and out. We'd be done. Talking points, 2-minute clock, you're done. All right, cool.
I think in reality, we really could bang this up.
We probably could.
We probably should. We got
but
shit to do.
I think that the flow that comes back and forth, it is these really are tidal waves. And then when it's a little calm, we can kind of, have these jam sessions and then boom, a wave comes in. Let's talk about the elimination. And I think it's fine. It doesn't bother me. I mean, I
think it's fine too. I also think it's sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. I also think it's fine with the criticism. So, you got something to say, we do read our tweets.
It's
for the most part.
Fair.
I don't respond nearly as much as I should, but big shout out to Young Block 314. Big shout out to Carmen Garza. At least you're listening, and we appreciate that very much. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. Hold on. First off,
it's all fair in love worn challenges.
You're a big fat. I need a haircut. What's really good, Posters? Welcome to another episode of Love, War, Challenges. I am MTV Malik. He is Tyler Louder. What's really good? Gang, 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 gang. I noticed you got the champion sweater on. Big shout out. I love the comeback Champion has made. Because when I was really, really young, Champion was a good brand. And then when I got to middle school or high school, Champion's cheap. And if you wear Champion, you're poor. Let me tell you something. There were so many dumb rules growing up. Like in high school, if you couldn't wear fitted hats. I mean, you couldn't wear snapbacks. You could only wear fitted hats. Because if you wore a snapback, you were poor. And I was like, I fucking love snapbacks. There's so many different designs and stuff. I can only wear fitted hats. So I love when stuff makes a comeback. I'm ready to get into this episode. I really, really trashed last week's episode. I thought it was not a very good episode. Very forgettable. And this episode, not the same.
Here's the thing. Episode 7, just for preference and everything, it was just 7 of 7. If we compared this to an episode from I don't even know, Gauntlet 2, it's way more entertaining. Like it is far and above. But yeah, it's overall though, one thing we do have to touch on the West of Bananas thing, and you're going to have to listen to it a little bit and Rob will give you a little quick notes and everything. So it was really interesting because there's little call outs there. Corey got called out a little bit by Wes, which we kind of talked about. But he actually went on and he said it. And Wes said, why would you bite the hand that feeds you?
I actually did see that part.
And there's been people clipping it all over, and everything I see is everybody's like, Wes is right. And Wes is sitting here and he's like, in our contracts, all this stuff is built in. And he even talks, he goes, yeah, sure, Amanda, maybe she can't fly out to LA for a fan event because she's in Colorado and everything with her job. But Corey lives down the street. Like, Corey should drive 30 minutes to go to this event. He could. And it's like, you are promoting the show you're going to be on so more people view it, so it stays on longer, so you get more opportunities to be on the show, so you make more money.
Makes sense.
It's a circle. I just thought overall it was pretty good. The way, especially like since Wes is like, quote unquote retired from the challenge. I mean, to be determined. We see this happen all the time, but he can look at things as a fan. He's a true fan. And the way he like breaks down things is like watching like when Tony Romo first burst on the scene as a commentator in the NFL. And you're just like, oh my God, dude, he knows everything that's happening. And like you hear Peyton and Eli talking on Monday Night Football. It is an insider like none other, because he's not trying to be anything. He's just himself. And I like it. And then there's a small things. We got to go back a little bit. Zach Nicholas had on his podcast, he had Tony. I think Tony got a little sloshed on there.
A little sauced up.
But he starts talking about on Vendettas, they were talking that production was getting in his ear to make moves during the game. And I was like, no, I don't like that. But neither here nor there. They're obviously making a show, whatever. But yeah, let's go and jump into the episode. I think those are just quips. I just wanted to, if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. I kind of
always knew that and kind of accepted that.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Like, hey, you're kind of a fan favorite. You kind of, we don't have a lot of footage on you. Go do something so we can get some fucking footage on you.
I've talked about this before. There's like behind the scenes thing, like Wes's first season when they were on Fresh Meat 1 and he got sent into every elimination, and Wes looked at everybody and just said like, thanks, you guys are all making me money because this whole season is going to be about me. That's what it's about. You keep sending me in. I keep coming back. I keep getting all the confessionals. Thanks. You're making me money.
And on the flip side of that, a lot of people get on the newer cast because they're just like, oh, you're hamming it up for the cameras. You guys just want camera time. So it's two sides of a coin, but a true champ and a true competitor is going to know how to balance that, i.e. Wes, i.e. a Bananas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's go ahead and dive in. Really, this episode kicked up emotions, energy, everything a lot.
Really did, and it did really good. There's a lot of stuff that did happen in the A block, but we're only going to touch on one because we'll fold that into the stuff later. Mm-hmm. And let's just talk about Ryan and Bananas. Bananas is like 40 something, or at least close to it.
No, I think they're in their 40s. I think he is.
Yeah. Now, Ryan just says, I kind of had enough. I'm going to go into an environment that's more welcoming, that's more calming, more peaceful. He didn't even make a big deal out of it. They're like, yo, you moving out? He's like, yep, find another room, just going to do that. And as a grown person, you would kind of think that, like, if you're going to approach her, you would say, like, well, something wrong? Do you want to talk about it or anything like that? But I think they kind of both know, what time it is. We're not feeling each other. It's not working. And that could have just been that. And I'm not a Bananas hater. But the antagonizing, come on, fam, we're not 22 anymore.
It's funny. I just started rewatching Key West, the real Key West. And no lie, in the very first episode, some of the things he says and in the way he talks, he did in this episode to Ryan right out the gate. It is identical. And he's like 23, 24 in that, like, the way he kind of talks. And I'm not dogging on him. I think it's just who he is. And I think he's just like, unapologetically himself. And I just think he just like, whatever, like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to me? And it's kind of that thing of like, he's producing something, he's putting on the show and he's helping out. And I think it's obviously like if I was in that environment and I was Ryan, I probably would have like had a little, like, I would have like let go for a second and just like lost it for a quick second. Ryan was pretty composed, just saying, oh man, you're an ass. And then just moved on. Like,
I think you said it perfectly. Bananas was smart in doing this because really for the whole episode, outside a couple of confessionals, this is really the only part of the episode that he was on.
Yeah.
And this season has kind of been Bananas light. It was a little hinky in the beginning, with going at Cara Maria. They kind of cooled their jets a little bit. But Bananas is making sure he gets a little bit of camera time. And that's kind of what it is. But also, he knows how to do it in a way where it doesn't come off as too corny. Mm. And these are one of his strengths. So but still immature, man. You got to grow with your audience. This is the problem with a lot of rappers. This is why you don't see a lot of elder statesman rappers. I mean, you see them around, but they're usually not nearly as successful as they were in their prime. Unlike rock stars. Rock stars, man, they're rocking out until they're 60. You know? He has to be able to grow with his audience a little bit. Because we're grown. Now, we get into the daily. Today's daily is called Battle for Honor, and it's gladiator themed. Now, initially, I kind of groaned because a lot of times when they do these promo tie-ins, they kind of suck. Like, I remember when they did one, you know, they'll do one for a bad movie, or they'll do one for a movie and it gets delayed. Like, they did one for Fast and Furious and it got delayed because Paul Walker didn't know how to use a blinker. And it didn't come out for another year.
Okay. Is
it too soon for Paul Walker jokes?
I don't think that's okay.
It's been like 8 years.
I'm just saying that's
and you know what? I can make a joke. Here goes a little something about me.
Oh god.
I have paid for it and gone to every single Fast and Furious movie in the theaters.
There you go. So you've helped contribute. You're good.
Yeah,
you're the reason they keep making movies.
At this point, it's just tradition because like the last 4 movies has been fucking shit. But still, I apologize to anybody who's a Fast and Furious fan or Paul Walker people. I was just making a joke. May he rest in peace.
The biggest thing I had from this right away is that they didn't do a callback. This happened on season 20. It was almost exactly the same thing. And Derek was the lone man on his team again.
I was thinking the same exact thing.
They didn't show a single clip from it. Like there was one point where it was Derek versus it was Brad, Dunbar, and Tyler. And he bounces off like 20 times before they finally get him out, and they only get him out because somebody sacrifices themselves to go out with him.
Yep.
Like, and just I wish they would have shown that and just been like, because Dunbar had a great clip. He's just like, he's just pissing me off. He just won't go. Like, dude, just get out of here. Like,
and it would have been great to tie in while almost the same exact thing is happening 20 seasons later. A big miss by production.
Cara and Laurel were in that same daily as well, and Laura was gonna throw it and then ended up not because, well, Abram started calling her out, and so she started shoving all the girls off and beating them.
Man, maybe they haven't grown with the audience. Maybe they're still exactly the same as we remember them from all these years ago.
It's weird because when they do like Hall Brawl, they show
previous
Hall Brawl's crazy. They have a callback to this, and it's on a anniversary season of 20. It's 20 seasons ago. I thought it was just an interesting not callback just to show, especially because Derek is again the lone man. I will say this before we talk about what happened in it. I didn't like how it was set up of like a time limit, and if you lose, like whoever lose people, I thought Era 1 was screwed. It should have been percentage based if we're gonna do it that way. Like really, Era 1 only lost 50% of their people. Like Era 3 only had a lot. They lost 50% of the people. They lost 3 of 6. So it's like the same thing. Like how is that? Yeah,
it wasn't fair. It did have some holes. I also thought that arena could have been a little bit smaller.
Yeah,
could have took away some of the size. Also, the time limit, total BS. Go till everyone is out.
Yeah, make people tired. And what you do? It just say after 20 minutes, we're going to shrink it, and it's going to be half the field.
Ooh, just like Fortnite with the poison gas or whatever.
It would have been so simple just to have like put up, because that's what they did on season 20 on Cutthroat. I think Blue 1-1 or something, or who was it? No, it was Gray 1-1 and Red 1-1 on that season. So they had to go to a sudden death 1v1, and they cut it by like 60%. And then that's all you had to play on. I was like, that's what they should have done is cut the zone. I thought it'd been a lot better. But I think obviously they were trying to have like the arena, the ring and everything.
Yeah.
But
makes sense.
Yeah.
But
still
for
fun.
daily,
still fun.
For daily, this season has been pretty light on physical dailies. This is just what the doctor ordered. It was great. It was fun. It was a little hard to follow sometimes, but I think they did good with showing who was getting out and stuff. I love this daily. This is a daily you can have every season, just like trivia. Give everybody some shields and go at it. Mm-hmm. And another thing I like about it is, I mean, I wanted to say that the chance of injury is kind of low, but people did look kind of banged up.
There was bandage for everybody. Derek's wrist and elbow. Saw Jordan had two of them here. Josh had one straight across.
Jordan
Yeah.
wasn't very big in this episode, but the one time he pops up, God, he pissed me off so bad. When he just goes, "Oh, come on, Derek, don't hide from me, be a man." I'm like, "Oh my God, take Corey's dick out of your mouth." It was just so infuriating. That guy, oh, it's such a fucking potato. You know,
Again, he's an on-screen producer. He's just like Wes and Bananas. He knows what he's doing.
stupid hat and goatee. I can't stand
But
it.
yeah, so the men go first, and I mean, kind of predictable what would happen, at first.
Well, I love the fact that Derek tried to cut a deal before the daily, and
We were talking about that last week. We were talking about that last
yes,
week.
and Derek. I
That's
know it's kind of late. He should have did this early in his career, but he's shown to be a bit more strategic and making some better decisions. Not all of that's going to go out the window at some point later on today, but I like the fact that he identified Theo, identified him as a strength, identified him as being isolated, and let's maybe help each other. Granted, because of the way it turned out, it didn't end up benefiting him as much as it could have, or at all,
I mean,
really.
kind
But I
of.
love the play.
Here's the thing, though. In the end, because he cut that deal, it helped out Rachel. That's the
Mm,
biggest thing here. Because if Rachel had to go against Kara, I don't know if I mean she might have still beat her, but I don't know if it wouldn't have been as easy
that could have
as
gone
it,
either way.
you know what I'm saying? And so like Derek legit made the deal, and it helped in the long term. It helped out Rachel the most because then Rachel doesn't have to go against Jenny. Rachel probably doesn't have to go against Kara. She gets Avery. Like that's what I saw from that deal. Really surprised. If I was correct, I'm pretty sure Johnny Bananas was the first person knocked off
He was
of the
first
whole
one out.
thing. Very surprised. And then Derek from a season 1 out. I don't think Ryan got knocked off. The guys didn't have as many people knocked off as like they should have. I do like how like right in the middle of it though, Devin's like, Corey, cut a deal. Come on, cut a deal. Like Devin's trying
Oh,
to
I love
politic
that.
during a
Love
deal.
that. That was, I mean, every once in a while we get stuff in the challenge that reminds us why we love it. This episode was full of those kind of moments. Before we move on to the winners, what was your favorite hit on the guy side?
Oh man, I really don't even know. I don't think I have a favorite hit because like I think I don't know. Everybody was kind of like taking cheap shots when they could.
Oh
What
yeah.
I did like as soon as what I did like the most is as soon as Theo was like, "No, Corey, we're not going to." Corey just like turned it up.
Oh yeah. 100%. I love that. I mean, I've seen Jordan get hit from the back, which always brings a smile to my face. But yeah, that was the favorite one. He was just like, "Oh, okay, so we can't work together?
All right,
All
let's
right,
go.
bet it's on." I thought, you know, Corey looked really great this episode, man. He did a lot of things the right way. I got some complaints about Corey. I hate the fact that he's in these kind of positions every season, but I think he played so many things the right way. Let's move on to the ladies. Now, not as exciting as the men's, but almost as vicious. I know some people were making a thing about, Cara wanted to rely on Laurel to get out a rival and Tori. What's your take on how that whole threesome of violence happened?
I think it's smart. First of all, this is like the first time the editing has actually shown Laurel in a positive light. I know like we talk about Laurel a lot, and I know there's a lot of negativity about Laurel and everything. And even though she's not like, I'm not a big fan of her and everything. The editing doesn't do her justice because it does just paint her as like this solo villain. She puts herself in those situations. I totally understand, but like there's always two sides to the story. And I think when she comes out in this one, she looks good in it. She looks like she's grown. She's like, Cara wants my help and everything, and it's going to help keep her safe. So I'm going to have her back. And it's those little moments, and you're like, oh man, you're like, there's a good person right there.
Right?
You're right there,
This
and
is
you
the Laurel
can
we
do
want to
it.
see.
But at the same time, it's like maybe this isolation of like these houses and these challenges, it brings out some of the worst and everything. So it was just nice to see that they are working as a team because they see that they can be beneficial for each other. I did like that like Tori noticed she was by herself and just like was running around by herself. I thought it was great. But yeah, I mean Tori's a super strong competitor. I liked Rachel didn't get knocked off. She's by herself the whole time,
Love
didn't
that.
get knocked off. I was just super surprised at the way the way that like Era 4 just dominated as well. Like I think all four of them stayed on for the girls. Like they strength in numbers always helps and win these things. So that's the other part of it where it's like, oh, it's not fair for Era 1, but it's like you're also rewarding the team that has played the best, which is Era 4 has played the best. So they shouldn't get punished. I still think there should have been there. You know what there was on Cutthroat? You got, or no, it wasn't Cutthroat. It was they did this on Battle of the Seasons. They did the same thing, but they were in those inner tubes.
Yeah.
And it was guys or guys. And what they did is I think there was like 4 or 5 teams, and you got a point for wherever you finished. So if you won the whole thing, you got 5 points. Second place got 4, and then the girls did theirs, and they got same point system, and that's how you found out who was last. That's what they should have done here.
That I think that would have cleared a lot of things up and made things a little bit more fair overall for all of the parties involved. Going back to the Cara Tori Loru thing, I think it's perfectly fair. First off, Tori is not some schlub. Like Tori is very good. She is a champ and deserved to be. And mind you, going through that was running over Bananas and Nani, and Jordan was in there too. So.
Wow.
The champ's a champ, man.
I'm just saying. I'm saying Jordan wasn't really in that final, but yeah. Anyways,
like I said, if Jordan was able to drag Anissa to a challenge win, I would never talk shit about him ever again.
Tony was saying that Jordan's the GOAT, and Zach agrees. Like they both like Zach said that Jordan's the best endurance athlete that this show has ever seen, like ever.
As much as I hate the guy, I have never doubted him for skill.
Yeah.
But also, I kind of treat him like I do with Kobe. I know you're amazing at this. I know you're great. I know you're probably top 3, and there's a strong case for you being the best. And I still hate you. It happens.
Back to Tori. If Tori came onto the challenge, if she was like 10 years older, she was around like in the teens, Tori would be like a 3 or 4 time champion by now. Like
Agreed.
she would have been Evelyn before Evelyn was existed type thing is how I kind of look at hers. Not as like physically intense. I think she's strong. I think Evelyn is still the greatest female competitor of all time.
But social game doesn't get as much credit. A lot of people talk about her social game as in they don't like it, but they don't realize what a strength it's been for her.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Tori is never gone by, episode 3, episode 4, episode 5. She usually comes in with a strong base, and that's a positive for her. And she's utilized it. Probably the best out of anybody, on the challenge in previous years.
Even when she was partnered up with Derek H on Final Reckoning, like that. First of all, that's like the worst. That's like the biggest case of popcorn muscles ever, probably. Like easily top 5. Nah, he's not. There's guys on their couches that could perform better in dailies than him.
I would love to see him on All Stars. All Stars is great. No, All Stars is great for redemption. For redemption.
But he shouldn't be. He's not from the franchise. That's just my thing. But that's just me. But then again, Cam was on it, but so who knows? But anyways, that's like Tori's like worst performance. And I think if I'm correct, they were like 5th out or something like that, 5th or 6th. The Redemption House kind of made that whole thing tricky. But otherwise, yeah, she's consistently going far in games. I think when she went up against Anissa, I don't even know what season that was. They all kind of blend together. It's like Double Agent, no, Spies Lies. Somewhere where she had to go to elimination against Nisa and then she lost and everything. But like, that's still most of the time Tori's here for a long haul. And I think Tori is somebody that I think some challenge community people get really annoyed with and everything. But I think when you talk about like top 10 greatest female challengers of all time, for me, Tori's in there. Like I don't even have to make a list right now, and I can confidently say she's in the top 10. She constantly wins dailies. She's constantly a threat. She had 1v3 here, and she still fought strong. Yeah. She's a stud in and out of the game, with social and physical.
And she's 5-3 in eliminations.
Yeah.
So which means for the amount of time and for the amount of seasons she's been on, she doesn't go in as many eliminations as she probably should.
Yeah, she started on 30. So it's a 10 season example from her. And she hasn't obviously been on 10 seasons, but yeah, she's been in 8 eliminations. She's won 5. So
not bad. Not bad at all. All right, moving on. Every 4 gets to win. Everyone going directly in, as was very easy to see how that was going to go. Before we get there, there's a little dust up between Corey and Derek. And let me tell you something. I loved it. I don't think anybody lost this initial interaction. If anything, Corey kind of won it because Derek kind of lost his shit a little bit throwing the vest, which I thought was okay because you could throw a lot worse stuff and you could do a lot worse. And I don't think it put Derek in the biggest light, but I think with Derek's injury, the way his team has been going, I think we can afford him a small blow up at Corey, somebody who he's had physical interactions with in the past with him and the Young Bucks and stuff. So I was really okay with it. I thought it showed a lot of passion from both of them.
I mean, yeah, I think Derek just took a small bit of that and then got offended. Where he was like, I felt bad for you out there, so I took mercy on you. And Derek's like, no, you didn't. Like, you knocked me off and everything.
I think his pride got hurt a little bit. Like who are you to give me mercy?
I'm gonna say right now though, throwing something at somebody when they're walking away, I think that's a low move. Like just do it to his face. I actually kind of agree with what Jordan said. I'm just saying, because we've seen this in the past, like Nehemiah and Evan. Nehemiah waited till Evan saw him. Right when he saw him, he threw a life jacket right in his face and said, "Come on, you want to do something about it? Let's go." Like you know what I mean? So I don't think what Derek did was wrong. I don't think Corey saying that was wrong. I think
I
that
think
they
he was
both
just amped up.
they were both amped up and everything. I think Corey was still mad about the whole like they didn't get to deal with Theo and everything. He was still, going through those adrenaline. Derek's kind of mad because Era One has been kind of just going downhill and he sees the writing on the wall type thing. I think it was just a combination of just like
Yeah.
passion.
Yeah. It's passion and
Yeah.
stress. Ugh. All right. So Theo and Jenny was the target. So they are going to be making the decisions for Ever Four, which I absolutely love because Jenny has found herself thrown in so many times, and Theo has kind of been on that. I don't think it's unfair, but it's nice to see her with a little bit of power coming her way. And Theo has kind of been on the outside of all of this besides his makeout sessions with Olivia. So it's nice to see those two. Derek and Cara and Corey and Avery are going to be up for elimination since they was the target. Um,
You know what I would have done if I was Derek or Avery? I would have went up to each other and said, "Let's not talk. Let's have our partners talk." Because I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty bad when you're like, "Oh, you're my best friend," and everything like that, and then you start pleading your case. Pleading your case is pleading against your friend. So let
yeah.
Cara and Corey plead their cases and don't affect your friendship. And I'm sorry. Well, I'm hoping Derek can, get me back because I went in and everything. First of all,
Not here. You can't. Not
Derek
here.
doesn't have that power.
He doesn't.
And as soon as, first of all, um,
Well, Derek could have stepped up. He could have volunteered to go in.
yeah, but there's no way that this whole Derek thing is throwing this off. There's no reason that Era 2 Derek should volunteer because Era 1 Derek wouldn't have let him go in anyways. He said the better matchup for us is if Rachel goes against Avery. That was the whole setup the whole time. Derek didn't care. He could have went against Jordan, Devin, or Corey. He did not care. As long as Rachel got the better matchup and Era 1 could stay in.
Agree.
And yeah, that was the big goal right there. But I think
there's a big difference. I think there's a big difference between saving somebody and sacrificing yourself. World of difference. I get that Avery saved Derek earlier, but this is not the time to repay. And her thinking that it would be appropriate for him to do that this time just shows how much you don't know.
because it also screws over Kara. And Derek doesn't want to, there's no reason for Derek to do that.
Exactly.
And here's the thing, Avery went in to protect Derek. She was already not going to say his name. Okay, and Derek isn't going to say her name. There's two different things. There are I will not say your name, and there are I will make up for my mistake, and then there is I'll go in for you if I have to say your name. Like,
going in for somebody is just the highest level of sacrifice. And don't get me wrong, we've seen great moments come out of it when, Nelson went in for Corey or some stuff, but that is not the standard, and we don't need to pretend like it is.
no, and I mean, it's not the standard, and I think it does show true friendship, but I don't think it's something that you should always if we were in a game, I already told you this, and it was me or you, I would go in for you, but I wouldn't expect you to do that as well. Like, just because like I feel like my game is like not as like maybe I feel safer if I go in and win. Like, like I'm fine. Or but maybe you aren't, you know what I mean? It's different things. Overall. But yeah.
So, in this deliberation, I hated the way almost everybody has played this. Everybody, I thought, played this elimination terribly, except for two people. I mean, Derek was going in anyway, so there's really not much of a way he could, at least he was entertaining. But Corey was the only one who played this right. Avery goes in with the whole, what did she say? Oh, extend the olive branch or whatever. You're talking to the wrong people.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, you thought that was going to work. Derek goes, oh, I don't want to shit on nobody, and Cara's just like, oh, if there's anything I could do for you in the future, can we pay it? Which is like the standard response to everything. Corey was not fucking around. I'm going to take this personally if you guys take a shot. And it's a threat. And him and Derek going back and forth. And all reality, out of that exchange, I thought Corey came out looking beastly. I don't think he changed anybody's mind, but I think he made everybody hesitate just a little bit. And I love seeing that for Corey. I love seeing this side of Corey, this really intense, competitive side. And I think he's felt like he's been taking too many hits and he's decided to hit back. And I'm loving every second of it.
It's almost like they kind of forget like the game. And it's like, if you, every decision you make, there's something that is a pro and there's a con. Like there's a positive and a negative. There always is. There's a person that shifts a little more towards your side and somebody that shifts a little farther away from you. When you vote somebody into elimination, they've already kind of moved away from you. There's no reason to bring them back to the middle where maybe they'll be on your side. They're already here. Keep them over here. They say this happened season and season again. I remember I used to hear Paula say this all the time. We've already said a team's name. Why would we piss off a second team?
And they don't say it that much anymore, but we see it the same. We see it all the time. Once somebody is voted in, if they come back, they keep getting voted in because we already said your name. There's no need to make a new enemy right now.
Yeah, why? That doesn't.
I already have you as an enemy now.
It's not your gameplay. Once you've already committed to it, there it is. That's the problem with Josh. That's the big problem with Josh is that Josh is like, okay, well, I did you wrong. Now I got to get you back to the middle. I did you wrong. Get you back to the middle. There's a difference. If you do a favor for somebody, they're more in your pocket each time. And then when you do them wrong, they go back to the beginning. That's just how it is. But when you do something wrong, you don't like, oh, okay, I'm going to save you this one time and now you're best friends. Nope, they just go back to the middle and you're even. And being even, it doesn't mean you have an alliance with somebody.
Yeah, Josh, and I thought Corey coming out of this deliberation, blowing up on Josh the way he did, I thought was totally fair. 100% fair. You know what? I'm sorry.
Dude, hang on. We got to get to that thing.
Yeah. I'm skipping.
Theo and Jenny, that was smart. And I don't even care if like, obviously Devin sees around it. Michelle saw around it.
Everybody kind of seen around it.
But it doesn't matter though. Corey didn't.
Also, that's the way you got to play it though. That's the way you got to play it. No matter what anybody says, you could say, this was a team vote and this is how you guys voted.
You know how easy it would have been for Josh and Casey to go? We don't want to put Corey in. But if you do that, all right, that's your call. Then their hands are clean. Why didn't they just do that? Why would they be like, well, it's your vote? And now they're on the confessionals. They're all saying this stuff like, no, this is messed up. Theo, like, I was going to do a Casey impersonation, but I did more of a Josh. But this is messed up and everything. And it's like, well, you went along with it. The 5-2 happened. It got said. You didn't defend the 5-2. And when Josh is like, would I have swayed you? And Corey goes, you might have. That's your strength in this game. Like literally that is your skill set in this game and you chose not to use it. That's twice he's done him wrong. And the fact that Josh is getting all mad or that Casey's getting mad, every time you make a move or do something, you go in a direction. Mm-hmm. And Josh has now went backwards twice with Corey. Casey has went backwards once with Corey now.
You know what's going to happen because of the way that Josh is playing? Somebody's going to try to take a shot at Josh and no one's going to step up for him. Nobody. They're going to allow it. They're going to allow it because first off, losing Josh is you're not losing that much, physically or strategically.
He's a flip-flopper. You're losing somebody that could maybe be for you, but could also maybe go against you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I thought it was totally fair. I love the way Theo and Jenny played this. They said, man, they were just like, man, screw Era 3. And really, those two, I mean, I know members of 3 and members of 4 was trying to get it together, but we both know with both of these eras combined, only a select few within both were going to be protected. And the people on the outside, the Corys, the Theos, the Jennies, they really rallied and they really kind of just nipped this thing before it even really got to take off. And I thought it was masterful. I thought,
Yeah.
especially because Jenny doesn't have a whole bunch of seasons under her belt, neither does Theo. But it makes me like to think that they are students of the game a little bit. The way they pulled this off, I thought was masterful. I'll give them all the credit in the world for it.
I want to say this is probably more Theo than Jenny.
Probably.
It feels like it. I still don't think Jenny has a good social grasp on the game. I think
But she's
that
liked.
she's liked, but I think like her thing is, oh, you're a really good competitor. I'm a good competitor. We can work together. That's just kind of how it is, which is totally fine. I'm not against it. But Theo literally is like, all right, yeah, Derek, let's make a deal. Even though Derek has nothing really to offer him except for the 25% chance they win. That is the only thing he can offer him.
It's just one more number working with him, though.
Exactly.
Which is better than just yourself.
And he did it before and everything. And that's why ultimately the vote meant nothing. But because Derek said, I want Corey and Avery, Theo was like, okay, like he called you out, not me, man. Why are you mad at me? He called you out.
Everything just kind of fell in place.
And here's the crazy thing too about everybody. Like, I know Michelle is like, oh, they're not looking out for like Era 4 and everything. It's like, they're in power. They could have went into elimination or they get power. That is the coin toss of the situation. When you're in power, dictate what is going to help you the next round. So you're good because the next people, and I think it was smart. And if everybody gets all mad at this, it's like, well, then don't let Theo and Jenny go in together. Tell somebody else to step up so that way people that are on the outs aren't in power.
That's on them for not thinking ahead. And I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that kind of a strategy. And especially if you win elimination, you got to pick the targets. That's probably something you should consider while doing it.
Like Casey and Kylan shouldn't nominate together because they're working together. They shouldn't because then if you're part of people that don't want to work with them, you're just giving that alliance all the power. And so it's very interesting though. But yeah, let's go ahead and get down to this elimination. And it was a interesting one. It was fun, but also kind of hard to watch for the women.
Yes. Did you catch the name of this elimination?
No, I didn't.
I missed it too.
But if you give me 30 seconds, I will have it for you.
Go ahead while I bring it in. So this elimination named blank, basically you got two people, you got a striker and a defender. The striker is blindfolded and they got boxing gloves. The defender can see, but got these little patches that you got to punch and knock off. And they got to punch each other, which I thought was pretty bold for the challenge. I mean, yeah, we see physical stuff. Yeah, people get hurt, but yeah, people straight up punching each other, which I thought was a
Fate of the Gladiators.
Fate of the Gladiators, a stupid name. This is a dumb name.
Better than Boxster Phobia.
You said what?
Better than Boxster Phobia.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was another terrible one. Okay, as a theory, what do you think of this elimination? Is this elimination a good idea?
So yes. Okay, so it is a good idea. But the problem is that there's so much wiggle room and gray area for people to get hurt. We saw this 10 seasons ago on Dirty 30 when they were blindfolded and had to rip off the patches off each other. But they were both doing it at the same time. But we saw Jordan take out, oh no, I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh. Anyways, we saw somebody get really injured in that, and it was kind of hard to kind of watch Ammo get hurt in that.
Yeah. Yeah, he was really hurt.
Yeah. And so it's just one of those things where it kind of, because like you see Avery just taking these shots and you're like, okay, well, they're going to be fine. And like, it's just like, they're going to kind of like, kind of get each other. And Avery was just standing there, just like taking, and it's like, dude, just like put your hands up. Just put your, we'll just do this.
Defense, something. She's just getting packed up like, oh my God.
Were you surprised that nobody took the strategy of like, I'm going to lean up against the ropes and you can't get my back?
like the rope-a-dope. I think I saw like Derek do it for like a second.
But then he started spinning, and I was like, I just would have done this. I put my hands right here, and I just would have said, "All right, I'm gonna take 5 minutes of just straight shots to the stomach. This is what I'm gonna do. But you're not gonna get these five on my back, and I'm gonna win."
I'm surprised nobody thought of that. Or
Rachel kind of did. Rachel's like, as long as she doesn't get my head, I'm gonna win. And Rachel was
right,
making sure you don't
head
get my
movement
head, get
and was
everything
running
else.
around. And TJ said it best. This is how you play the game. You know, when it was Avery versus Rachel, it did make it a little bit hard to watch because she just getting smacked up. And here's what the funny thing is. I think Rachel is going for the strikes, but God bless her. I did a little bit of boxing back in the day, and I could tell that one, she knows how to throw a punch, and two, she was not trying to injure her at all. She was trying to
No,
get these balloons. She wasn't trying to tear her head off.
no.
And I noticed that, and Rachel's already a challenger that I have an enormous amount of respect for.
Mhm.
But I really respected that because she could have easily knocked her whole head off. There was obviously no blocking. And she didn't take, I mean, yes, she got hit in the face, and but she wasn't trying to take her head off. I thought that was very respectful. And I think she's seen how it was going, and she didn't aim to try to hurt and maim Avery. Hats
There
off to
was
her.
there was foreshadowing in this episode though, because during the daily,
Yeah.
Avery was like, "Just don't hurt my moneymaker, don't hurt my face," and then they're like, "Oh, you don't want us to? We're gonna have a boxing elimination."
Right, and the paint all over her face, and she getting papped up. It was very, very one-sided. When she was the striker, and she
I
played
cheered.
defense.
I cheered when it was over. That
Yeah,
Rachel won. I felt a little bad, but I think it was just a master class of like movement and seeing what you could do, like seeing what somebody else did and then adjusting. I think being the hitter first was such an advantage
mm,
because the person that was a hitter second just took 5 minutes of getting hit, which takes
yeah.
out energy of you. And then the person that was doing the hitting, really, you're not go. I mean, you're swinging, but you're not getting hit, so your energy level should be higher to evade. So really, going first had such an advantage. I don't think it would have changed the outcome of the women's, but I think it would have affected the outcome of the men's.
What I didn't understand is why didn't they just give them both blindfolds, give them both gloves, and whoever knocks these bags off first wins? It would have shortened the time. 5 minutes, 5 minutes in a round is fucking
Or don't
forever,
do
man.
boxing gloves. Don't do boxing gloves. Just have the bags and literally just make it like pull like
Pulling it
when
off.
you pull when you pull the bags instead of punching somebody. Really, that's what they should have done.
Don't get me wrong. I didn't hate the daily, but
I do like eliminations that you can't tell who wins until TJ tells you.
I
That
do
is
love those
what's
too.
because literally Derek and Corey finish and everybody goes, "Did he get them
Who
all?
won?
Is he done? Does he have any
They
left?"
both
Like
thought they won.
that's the best part of eliminations because us as fans don't go, it's over. Okay, all right, TJ, we
Yeah.
don't need to, we don't need to hear you say like,
Oh, I
thanks for
hate having to
coming.
watch an elimination, 2 minutes of elimination. I was like, yeah, this is some bullshit. Pull out my phone, start making
Yeah,
jokes on Twitter. Corey versus Derek did not disappoint. I tweeted about it earlier. I said, I tweeted a picture of me and Derek, and I was like, I've been watching this guy on TV for 20 years, and he is always giving me my money's worth. He was injured, he was limping, and Derek is known for having a heart of gold and never giving
yes.
up and trying whatever, and he continues it to this day. Hurt, battered, angry. And Corey steps up to the plate. He gives it just as good as he's given, and it's a real battle going back and forth, and we can't tell who wins. It was such this elimination was pretty great across the board. Just watching, especially coming off the dud that was last episode.
So I don't think he needed it, but I think Derek earned Corey's respect after this. I think Corey thought he was going to steamroll, and then he got the same reality that most people get, and it's like, oh, Derek's what like
He's
he
different.
is that dog.
Yeah, he's
Rachel's
different.
comment of like Derek being the GOAT. Get out of here. That's not true. I respect Derek. He's the
Is he
reason
even
I
the
like
go to
that.
pro wrestle?
No, we've already talked about this. Stop. He's trying to get me and Derek on a bad side. This isn't going to be a fans versus contestants like rival season. It's not going to exist. But I think I just think that when we talk about effort and being a dog and being an underdog and just being, when I say dog, I just mean
Yeah.
like
I get what
rabbit.
you're
I
saying.
just, in case people don't know, but then being an underdog and just like proving people wrong. Derek is the goat of that category. Consistently, constantly, over and over, going against bigger opponents and taking them to the limit. That is the reason why he is a fan favorite. The Gauntlet 2 made Derek a favorite, going into elimination after elimination against bigger guys, beating Cyrus in a wrestling match,
Oh
beating
man,
Brad, going up against oh my gosh, what's his name? He was just on All Stars 4.
Big Easy. Oh,
No,
well, he wasn't on also for,
he's dating
but he been
Avery now. He's dating Avery now. Whatever his name
Adam.
is. Adam. He beat Adam. Like, and the only reason he lost was because of Timmy, but he's taken out lots of dogs.
Yeah,
And that's why everybody likes Derek. That's what he is. And his legacy will always be lived on. I just think newer challengers need to remember like exactly who he is and everything. It's kind of like when you hear about like football and everybody's like, oh man, like you should have seen like Barry Sanders back in the day. I'm sure there are kids nowadays that are like,
who's Barry
nah,
Sanders?
he
Yeah.
probably wasn't that good. They were old back then. It's like, no, dude, Barry Sanders could cut in this day and age.
Oh, as you get old, you realize that as a kid you did it, and then it's getting done to you now. Like I'm telling the kids, like, oh yeah, man, when DMX came out on the scene, changed the game, went for the shiny suits. They're like, who's DMX?
Yeah.
That angry guy that barks, that playing the car. Um, and I was really appreciative of this episode. I hated last episode. This episode gave us several moments that remind us why we love this show. And knowing that
We
Derek and Corey had they got into it in the
no
past.
beef. Yeah.
Yeah, but after beating the dog crap out of each other, just like, hey man, great job, much respect. Just oh man,
We've all been there with our buddies. I
yeah,
remember I am a guy that, like I grew up playing soccer. Like I didn't really do like, I mean, I played like other sports and everything, but once I hit like 14, I was just like soccer on. And I know a lot of my buddies that were like wrestlers or anything like that, or like they did martial arts and mixed martial arts and everything, and they were all like talking, and I like would like just smack talk and be like, nah, you probably can't take me down. Nah, you probably could never tap me out, like and that stuff. And they just get all heated, and then they're mad at me and they start taking jabs, and then we wrestle, and then all of a sudden when it's over, it's like this like it's so weird with it's so primitive with men,
yeah, it's
and
very
maybe there might happen with women too, but not as much. But where that happens, and I'm sure maybe you've had that with a buddy, and then you kind of like sprawl a little bit, and then you're done, and
mhm.
you're just like, oh, I love you, man. Like that, it's so weird how that
it's
happens.
it's a primitive thing, and you know what? And the thing is, because I'm I've always been a wrestler. I still size up everybody when I first see them.
Yeah,
Every time I see somebody, I was like, okay, penetration step, single leg takedown. Yeah, I can take this guy.
my
Still
favorite.
do it.
I
Now,
used to
with these knees.
before I was like a real adult, so I'm talking like 24 and under. Like even when I was in college, I used to like hear about wrestlers, and I would just be like, I want to see how long like I could like go. I want to like I have endurance. Like I want to go till like they're exhausted. Like
Yeah,
I just wanted to size up
wrestling
people.
endurance is something like
I used to do that with dancing too. Like I'd be out at a party or anything like that. I see somebody else dancing and be like, all right, it's on. Like I was gonna go challenge them
yeah,
for no reason, just because I
like
just want to see.
those rounds being 5 minutes to 7 minutes. Man,
Mm,
7 minutes wrestling, Jesus Christ.
yeah.
Um, I thought it was a really great moment, and also I thought it was a really great episode for Corey. I felt like this win benefited Corey so much more than it would have Derek if he would have won. If Derek would have won, it's just Derek being Derek, beating bigger guys, rising above odds. That's kind of his thing. But for Corey, he put down the legend in a hard fought, straight up. I thought it was great. I thought this whole episode, he looked great. I thought Corey is the clear winner of this episode. And if we had power rankings, Corey would have shot through the roof this episode.
You would have been, and we will get them.
I know.
I think they're
So,
coming up
let's
soon.
get tightened up a little bit, make it more easy.
Yeah.
Ain't no sense
Right.
as sitting here going through 16 people.
Yeah. Right now, Corey and Rachel are both 2-0 in eliminations. Nobody else is 2-0 right now. Derek was just 2-1. So there are people that are out there. So we still have some people that got a little streak going. We do see a lot of times in eliminations is that if somebody has to go into 3, that's normally like a cap. of like once you hit three, if you win three, like you're probably out on your fourth. Like it is so rare to win
Yeah.
more. And right now, I mean, unless I don't know how they're going to do this, but Rachel is probably poised to go into every elimination
Oh my
from here
God.
on out. And I mean, unless she gets eliminated, like Rachel
Or a
could set
format
a
change.
record. I thought that right now we have 20 people, individual game. This is the best time to do it. Rachel's by herself. Like,
Yeah, but individual game would be terrible. It's supposed to be battle of the eras, not,
but I already think it's going that way. And here's the thing.
probably.
How do you fairly like, especially when you do like challenges and you have one person there? Is the
No
next
idea.
challenge where they're hanging, is it going to be based on like average time each person stayed up? So Rachel's just got to be higher than the average because
I
there's
th-
no way she can outlast 19 other people.
but listen, what I'm hoping is if it is one people, if it's going to be one person, I think that there's going to be a couple of dailies where just having one person, as long as you perform right, will be incredibly advantageous for her.
But here's another problem too. If Rachel gets last, that means a guy is safe. No guys go home.
Yeah,
That doesn't make any
that's a
sense
free
to me.
pass.
That's why I'm saying that you go an individual and you just, because you have 10 guys, 10 girls. And what you do is if you get 10th place, you're in. If you finish in the top four, you know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see.
We'll
But
see.
I mean,
I, I hope they do it right. Um. Also, Corey is now 10-4 in eliminations. Not bad.
and one of those losses, by the way, was kicking a soccer ball on fire.
The fight. He is king janky. Even this one's kind of a janky elimination.
Yeah,
He is
blindfolded.
king janky elimination.
But fun fact. Okay, so what do we have? So Corey has beaten Derek, Brad. He's beaten Darrell. Man, who else has he beaten?
Um,
He beat
Shane
Shane in
Nelson.
elimination.
Theo,
He's beaten Nelson. Has he beaten Theo?
old Theo from Bad Blood.
Oh, yeah.
And Are You the One people? God, the one Tony, Christina, and Nate.
No, they lost to them.
No,
Him and
they did lose to them.
Him and Ashley
Rivals,
lost
right?
to them. Yeah,
Yeah,
on
and Rivals.
Rivals 3. Yeah, they lost to them.
He beat.
Man.
Oh, he beat Popcorn Muscles.
Derek?
Oh no! I thought we were talking about Corey.
Yeah, Corey and Devin beat Zach and Amanda
Mhm.
as well. So he's beaten Zach. Yeah, Corey's got some good wins under his belt, to be honest. Like if we're
He took out Durrell. He took out Swaggy C.
see, I'm trying to look at double agents. He went in, and that's when he beat Darrell. Yeah, so I mean, he's just got some quality wins
He got some good wins
under his belt.
Yeah, and come on, Brad and Derek are both champs.
And Darrell, Brad, Derek, and Darrell, and
Yeah.
Zach. That's 4 champions that he's knocked out in elimination. So,
And the female champion Amber B.
and yep. So
Zach was a champ too.
yeah. So overall, pretty good stuff from Corey. Is I was thinking about this.
Real quick. Interesting. You know one person who did beat him?
Who?
Matt Rife.
Oh, that's right. It's so crazy
The
because
first Chance versus Stars.
second one. This is Chance versus Stars. Yeah, Chance versus Pros. Yeah. First Chance versus Stars. Yeah. Second
It's okay.
spinoff.
I'm reading the page now, so
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, that's right. And that's so crazy because people probably don't even realize that he was on that show because that was when he was still on Wild and Out. And
I don't know who he was back then.
well, he was just one of the Wild and Out characters.
Yeah.
Who he was.
Listen. I know this is gonna sound weird because I'm black, but I don't watch Wild and Out.
Oh,
I've actually never seen an episode. But here's the funny thing is, Charlie Clips, Hitman, I do watch battle rap, so I'm actually very familiar with them. I just never watch the show.
Yeah.
Conceited.
yeah. But overall, though, I was thinking about this. You know, we made our list of best to never win. I'd like to that was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I'd like to revisit that because I think Corey would probably find himself moving up in that list.
I would agree.
And I wonder how many
It,
people have won
it's
since
actually
then.
surprising he hasn't won one.
Well, he's been a runner up a couple times. He's been really close. But I mean, like certain things get him, like his first when he was on Invasion of the Champion, like
Yeah.
he couldn't add up triangles. It just hurt him. Like he just did what bad with Camilla. But overall, yeah, Corey's a good competitor. I think it's a really good episode. I don't know where I'd
Great
rank this and
episode.
everything.
His first
Yeah.
one was Bloodlines, right?
Yeah, it was on
Yeah,
Bloodlines.
Bloodlines 27.
Yep, and he
Yeah.
got second. He got second place on that, and then he came back on 29. Oh no, then he came back on Rivals and got like
Rivals.
6th or 7th place, and then he got 3rd place on Invasion, and then Dirty 30 he was out pretty early because he had to go to Redemption House.
Yeah, he didn't do great in the trilogy. Actually, the trilogy was kind of a downturn for him.
Yeah, because on Vendettas he was second one out on that very first elimination with Nelson. So yeah, it's just overall. Yeah, he
got what, 4 finals? Because he also did finals in Total Madness and Double Agents.
Yeah, he got 3rd in Total Madness and he got 2nd in Double Agents.
Yo, you're
So
fucking mind for this, man. Always boggles me.
Well, I just
But-
remember because Total Madness was wild because like Kyle was on that season and it's hard to remember that, and he got 2nd because Fessy got 4th.
We gotta get Fessy back.
No. Wes
He's
made a
good.
comment on that, and he goes, you know what I hate? People that are good at Hall Brawl. Like, we get it. You're bigger than us, but like you'll never win a final. And I thought it was hilarious because thinking of all the guys that are really good at Hall Brawl, we've got guys like Fessy, and we have guys like Big Easy, and we have guys like Leroy. And yeah, those guys have never won. Like, we have guys like, it's just really interesting. Like Theo has dominated Hall Brawls, never won. And Theo's probably the exception, but
Yeah,
Wes
I think he got a win in them.
but Wes said that people like that are just like bigger than everybody, and he didn't say Fessy, but the whole time I was like, he's talking about Fessy. He's like those guys think that they're the God's gift of the challenge because they're good at that stuff, and you're bigger than us. But you'll never win in a final. Those guys can't keep up in a final, and Fessy's gotten like 4th twice. Like,
Yeah. You gotta be athletic all around. This is why people like Jordan and Bananas gets these kind of wins in the amount they did.
Yeah.
But moving on with the targets,
Rachel.
Rachel. They pick Casey and Colin, who both volunteered. And here goes another thing: Devin and Tori, who both volunteered. And I do think that that's 100%. They said, if we're going to do this, we might as well do this together.
That's what I thought, because every time Nia volunteers, Jordan volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
And Tori and Devin are mixed. I think it makes the most sense because it's like,
It makes sense.
yeah, because you guys will vote the same way. You'll have the
Yeah.
same, yeah.
I love the fact that Bananas is telling Laura, like, don't volunteer while keeping the camera on Aviv. I thought that was great. And she gets picked anyway, which I thought was right too, because, she's been going around pissing off people in the house. I think Laura is going to see herself targeted a bit more than she's comfortable with.
You know what's crazy is we're all sitting here and we're sitting going, like, at the beginning of this episode, we're talking about, oh man, Bananas kind of being a little childish and everything. And last episode calling out Ryan. I think it got under Ryan's skin, and Ryan nominated himself because Bananas is like, what have you done for our team? You're not doing anything. You need to step up. Because why else would Ryan nominate himself? Rachel has bad history with Bananas from the island, from X's One. She would have voted him in. What are you doing?
Ryan could also, snuff out, a dumb move that Laura's going to do, or something that might, hurt somebody who he's in line with in the long run. So I love the fact that Ryan's paired up with Laura on this one. And God, if they win or lose, the arguing that they're going to do.
I mean, but here's the thing. If they lose, I mean, this is set up right now. Like, it's Kylan, Devin, and Ryan. Like, that was the best case scenario for Devin, to be honest. No offense to Ryan or Kylan, but that is the best matchup for him.
Kylan is a little bit more. I mean, both Kylan and Devin are pretty battle tested, but I think with the right one, Ryan could pull one out.
That's true, and he did it. He beat Brandon. We've seen him win eliminations before. He almost beat Nehemiah back in the day.
Right.
This
isn't worst case for him. And I think that also has something to do with him also voting out. He kind of looked around. He said, all right, these guys are tough, but they're not unbeatable.
I think it's best case for Ryan too, because
Yeah.
if it was something super physical, Josh outweighs him by like 100 pounds. If
Kylan too, now that I think about it. I think this is like this batch is pretty evenly matched. Maybe but Ryan also has experience over these two.
if
So
I'm
I think for
Ryan, I'd rather go against Devin than Jordan though.
listen, if I'm me, I'd rather go against Devin and Jordan. Listen, I may hate the guy, but I know how good he is. He'll figure out something. His adaptability has made him into a challenge legend.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, those are the targets. I mean, it's going to be interesting because right now, if we look at the women, I mean, we have right now Rachel, Laurel, Tori, or Casey. Like, whoa, this is class. And Casey, even though people say she's boring or whatever,
She can play.
she's so good at the game
She can
and
play.
she's good at everything she does in the game. That's the thing about her. And she's a
Boring,
champion.
boring as shit, but but she can rock.
Right now, guaranteed, a female champion will be going home next week. I can't
But
believe the challenge
that's
didn't even say that. Why wouldn't you say that? Hype it up. Remember on War of the Worlds? Remember on
yeah,
War of the Worlds when like a champion went home and they were like, and next week another champion's going down because two champions are gonna get each other. It's like, who's gonna be? There's like five champions.
exactly.
Like,
And how often do they get to say that? How often we see champs going at each other? When's the
yeah.
last time? Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you listen to us on Apple or Spotify podcasts. We have Twitter.
Like and
I am
subscribe.
link and subscribe. Once again, I am MTV Malik. He is Tyler Louder. This is Love War Challenges. Good night. My fucking window is open. I'm hearing
Dude,
everything.
so
from
much
outside.
noise in your side.
So much. Oh my God.
Your neighborhood is up and going.
Aren't y'all supposed to be at work today? Jesus.